ఒకసారి వాష్ చూడు. పంపించండి. ఇచ్చిందా? அசல் வாய்ஸ் என்பதா செக் பண்ணல. ஒரு இதுவும் இல்ல. என்னதான் பண்ணுறது சொல்லு. ஒரு இது என்ன பண்ணுறது? వాయిస్ వస్తుందా?
ఏదైనా మాట్లాడు. హలో హలో
இருண்ணா, எனக்கு கூட தெரியல. வச்சாதான் தெரியும். நீ உனக்கு வாட்ஸ்அப் அனுப்புறேன் பாரு. நீ பாரு. கீழே போ, கீழே போ, கீழே போ. சீக்கிரம் போ, சீக்கிரம் போ, சீக்கிரம் போ. ஓடு 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 ஓடு. சீக்கிரம் போ, சீக்கிரம் போ, சீக்கிரம் போனா, சீக்கிரம் போனா, சீக்கிரம் போனா. இருண்ணா, எனக்கு கூட தெரியல. வச்சாதான் தெரியும். நீ உனக்கு வாட்ஸ்அப் அனுப்புறேன் பாரு. நீ பாரு. கீழே போ, கீழே போ, கீழே போ. சீக்கிரம் போ, சீக்கிரம் போ, சீக்கிரம் போ. ஓடு 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 ஓடு. சீக்கிரம் சீக்கிரம் போ, சீக்கிரம் போ, சீக்கிரம் போனா, சீக்கிரம் போனா.
The mic is fixed.
Can you hear me? Is it audible? Is it audible? No, no. Balaj. Is it audible? Adna? Okay, okay, understood, 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 understood. Everyone, could you please come forward and sit? Those who are at the back, could you please come forward and sit? Please be silent and please come forward and sit. Okay, good morning to all. I'll be dealing with drafting, pleading, and conveyancing for the semester. Could you please remain silent? Please settle down fast. Okay, we'll begin with drafting today, and we'll make it in like categorize into drafting and pleading and conveyancing, and all the important factors will be discussed in all the upcoming classes. Okay. As a lawyer and as a budding lawyers, within a couple of months you will be enrolled as advocates, and the first thing you will be facing difficulty is drafting, because this is very important in your career, because that is what I told yesterday itself. It is the art of writing. It is how you convey before the court, how you convey it in a formal language. The language that you use should be passive, and it should be very very interesting way also, right? So there are some rules and there are some regulations that you have to follow from today onwards. If you wanted to practice, if you wanted to pursue law, or even if you wanted to go to any MNCs, any law processing companies, you will be given work to do, draft a agreement, to draft some kind of deeds. Even while we are allowed to mingle with the clients, how you deal with them. These are all the things that you will be dealing in the last semester this year, and especially in drafting, pleading, and conveyancing. This is in the written form how you're going to shine as an advocate. Okay. Actually, drafting is like a art. It is the way, this is like you mold this pillar or anything. You mold your draft plane, the starting from the notice, advocate's notice that you send to your opposite client. Be it anything that you start from today is very important. First and foremost thing with regard to drafting is, there are some rules that you have to keep in mind. First one is formation of an outline. Before starting or drafting, or before sending a notice to your client, opposite client or anyone, you should have an idea of what they are going to write it. First thing, for example, I'm taking notice today. In notice, you should mention your address, that is mandatory, to whom you are going to send, and under what is the instruction that has been. There are some kind of formats that you have to follow while drafting a notice, and what you wanted, what is the remedy that you are asking for your client, everything, and what is the time period within which he has to respond, everything that has to be mentioned, but in a very stylish. At the same time, it should be in a way that even a simple layman should understand, because the person who receives your notice might not know English very well, or he is not good at it, where whatever you read he might not know, understand, right? But maybe an illiterate man receives an advocate's notice, and once he reads it, he might not understand what you're actually talking about. What is a remedy that you're asking for your client? Why you want to respond within the period of 7 days, or whatever the prescribed time you have given? So the first and foremost important thing, you should have a frame line or framework of what you want. Have an idea of what you wanted to do. Then you have to arrange the facts in such a way that it is in a very communicative way. First thing, we are stating our name, our designation, our address, whatever be it. Then comes to whom you wanted to send it. That is the format. Then comes we are addressing the person, be it dear sir or dear madam or the managing director or whatever designation they are in, and that is a format we have to write. Then comes under what authority you are sending this notice to that person. Under the instruction, there is a format that you have to learn by heart. Okay. Under the instruction from my client, so and so. In so and so, you have to mention his name, his address, what son of whom, his address, and everything. He has given me the right to send you the notice herein mentioned. This should be the first paragraph. So, firstly, in a notice, there should be your address, your designation, to whom you want to send it. And next comes the salutation or what your dear sir or dear madam or whatever it is. Then and the what authority. That authority is what your client has given you. I'll read out it. Just listen. Under the instruction from my client, so and so, Mr. X, son of dash, residing at dash. Uh, Under the instruction of my client, I have sent the following notice to you. From as per his instruction, I am sending the notice to you. Then the next paragraph should be the what? The content. That is what we say arrangement of facts. In order to arrangement of facts, you have to create a small story like this. How your client and my client came into a relationship. What was the relationship? What is a fiduciary relationship? What is where you are partners? Where you are siblings? Or if there is a money suit? When was the money suit arose? Was it within the time period? That is also very important when you draft a notice or anything, because you cannot send a notice which is barred by time. Right. So is it within the period of limitation you are sending this notice? Because for example, for a money suit, it is a period of 3 years within which you have to initiate the legal proceedings against the other person. Right. So we have to mention whether it is within the time period and X or Y, X and Y, how they entered into the relationship, what is the default the other person has done, and why is the reason, what is the reason that I am issuing the said notice to you. For example, in 138 manual, we have non-negotiable instruments, right? Under 138, what is the limitation period we have to issue? Under what section? Hmm? Within a period of 3 months, we have to present the check before the bank. If it is dishonored because of insufficient of fund or any other reason, the notice should be sent within 1 month or 15 days. Hmm? And within that day, you have to give a 15 days time period for this. That is how 1 month is there. Within 15 days, you have to institute that, you have to send a notice, and you are given a time period of 15 days for his reply. Once he gets his acknowledgement, within that period, you have to file, you have got a period of filing this suit for under one section 138. Okay. So then, after briefing of the state of facts, you are asking for the remedy that you want for your client. I'll read that. And shall I read the facts? Are you able to follow me? Yes or no? No. Who said no? Who want further clarification? I heard someone say no. Who want further clarification? Ready to explain. I'll read the fact of this notice. Okay. That you owe and rupees of 1,65,000 to my client. Okay. To discharge the above liability, you issued a check bearing so and so, dated so and so, drawn on the State of Bank of India, dash branch. My client presented the above check for collection. The above check returned dishonored, white memo dated so and so, stating the reason opening balance not sufficient. Because of insufficient of fund, the check was dishonored. Thereafter, my client contacted over phone and you required my client to wait for some time and present the above check for collection after 3 months. And in the meantime, you assured my client that you will arrange sufficient fund to honor the check. Accordingly, my client presented the above check for collection again on specified date. The above check was again returned dishonored, stating that the check in the account, there was no fund in order to honor the check. So you understood the fact. My client presented the check. You owe me 1,65,000, and in order for security, you gave a check of stay on to be drawn on a specified date. And when it was presented, it was dishonored, and he was given a specified time also. And within that period also, he failed to honor the check. And accordingly, that is the reason, that is the relation. That see, even then there was hardly 5 or 6 sentences, but you are able to communicate with the client. What is the reason? What is the facts? When was the cause of action arose? Everything has been given in detail in a very short form. Notice must not be like a plain, it should not have all the stories or everything. It should be in a very short form where even a layman should understand. That is the reason. It is just a notice. You are being acknowledged of my grievances. That's it. Okay. Now we are going to conclude the notice time. So we have stated under what instruction, under what authority I am issuing this notice. Later on, what is the relationship between the parties and what was the cause of action, when was the cause of action arose, what is the reason I am giving you, and also what was the grievances or the what was the remedy that I had to get. That has to be concluded in the following paragraph. Therefore, I hereby call upon you to pay an amount of so and so to my client within 15 days from the date of receipt of this notice. What do you mean by from the date of receipt of this notice? Because we might send on 1st of Jan. He might have received on 5th of Jan. But we will get the acknowledgement as 5th of Jan. Right. So we have given him from 5th to 20th. That is a 15 days notice, not 1 to 15. It is from 5 to 20. So that is a 15 days period. Once the 15 days lapses, you have got the right to file a suit against the person. That is the time period which we are giving to the other person. What is it? In order to arrange this money. Okay. So we conclude stating that otherwise I have instruction to initiate appropriate criminal and civil proceedings against you, which you may please avoid. So this is how, then you have to put your signature, seal your enrollment numbers once. So this is how you draft a notice. And in notice itself, we can understand how beautifully you are good at. I'm giving you, if possible, I'll give you some scenarios. I'll give you some hypothetical problem. Just per day, like at least when you get a free time, try to draft now itself. Don't get offended or anything. Most of people, even I was not very good at drafting. What we think might not be the thing which we write. We might be struggling at the very moment of when we wanted to write something, right? We might not get the correct word, appropriate word. And for legal terminology, it is very important that we write the legal terms, right? So make it a practice, because once you get enrolled, don't get your high hopes that next day onwards you will be able to argue before the courts. Your junior or seniors, most probably they won't allow you to appear. They will train you. So during the training period, what the seniors actually tell you is to do drafting. Do something, make a notice, send a notice to the client, or just do a small IA drafting or anything. So at that time, you people should not struggle. You should begin from today onwards, even though if it is wrong, even though you are not able to write it, Try to take a pen and paper and start writing from today onwards. Only then you will not struggle during. It's not mandatory that it has to be in English. You even in your regional language also you can send a notice and everything, right? So don't feel that language is a barrier for you, but at the same time, it will be easy once you do with English. I'm not saying regional languages you should keep it aside or anything. It will be easy for you to get some words in legal terminology in English rather than your regional languages. So make a habit of writing every day. This is the smallest thing you could do. So the first and foremost thing you have to think is the communication. Communication that you communicate with your with the other client who is also a layman. He is not a lawyer. Once the suit is arrived, once you file a suit, once the other party appoints a advocate as well, then you can use all the hard terminologies or anything. But this is the thing. This is the first thing or first notice that you are. If you fail to do so, if you fail to give me the money within the stipulated time period, I will initiate the legal proceedings. If this is not communicated properly to the other man, he won't understand anything. He won't approach a lawyer or anyone. He will simply fold the paper and keep it aside. And one fine morning, if he get a notice from the court, he will be worried, right? So this is also in order to protect, to have a smooth communication with them. These few things has to be kept in mind. Okay, so his notice is clear. This is the format for notice. The advocate's address and designation, and to whom you want to send it. Date is also very important while you are sending notice, because then only we are giving a stipulated time period, right? How we are going to calculate if there is no date? Date is also mandatory, and also under what designation you are sending, to whom you are sending, and under what instruction, from whom you got the instruction that you are sending this notice, the facts of the case, and the remedies or the relief that you want, within which period you have to comply with, and your signature, your enrollment number, and your place from which you are sent. So this is the format or the outline for a notice. Is it clear? Is it clear? Okay, now I have sent a notice to you stating that you owe me so and so money, and you have to pay within 15 days. Now you got the notice on 5th of Jan. What you guys have to do again? Because the acknowledgement has been received by the other switch it off, switch it off, switch it off. Other party has received, the advocate who have sent the notice has also received the acknowledgement. Now what the person who have received the notice has to do? He can either approach the clients personally, or he will approach an advocate like you people. Now what is the advice you would give? Could you say some suggestions? Are you going to admit what that you have borrowed the money, or you are going to promise him that you will pay within 15 days? Or you are asking for some time period for payment of money? What would be the advice? I'm not asking about the reply notice. I'm just asking you. One person has approached you stating that I have got a notice. And what would be the advice that you would give as an advocate to the client? Huh? Time. You would say that, excuse me for a while. You would say, you would ask the other advocate for time. So that means you are admitting your claim. You're admitting that you owe 1,65,000. Then No, could be anything. I'm asking you. Hmm? Shanmugam? Nothing, huh? Ignore the notice. So later on, what happens when you get a... You will see the code. What if we file the suit and the property is also attached? It is a money suit. Okay. I'm just asking, okay. It is a money suit. You owe me to say 20 lakh rupees. There are chances of you to fly, like go abroad or something, and there is property also. Okay. And maybe you are trying to alienate the property also. I'm filing a suit for money and I'm attaching the property also. It is very hard to lift an attachment. So what would be the advice you would give to your client? Okay. I said, yes, I borrowed 1,65,000. I borrowed 1,65,000 from. I don't have money right now. What? You are asking for time period. Part payment. Then, if client has the money, why should he come to you? He will give the money to the... Huh? If he has please be silent, settle down. If he has that kind of idea, why would he approach you? No, just open to suggestions. Just we have an interactive sessions. Otherwise, it will be a boring class. From the girl side, anyone? Within a few months, you are going to face all these things. That is why. When someone come and ask, you should not be baba bye. Okay, do something, whatever you want. I don't know anything. Whatever you're wrong or right or wrong, we should have that confidence. This is right. Huh? See, if you have to settle outside the code, you don't want money or what? If you negotiate also, would you think you will get money? Huh? Huh. Okay. In reply notice, it is also why I ask these kind of questions is it is one kind of acknowledgement. Understood? What you have admitted, you have learned admissions in Evidence Act, right? You cannot stop, you cannot go back from saying it. That is why I'm ask you question. Once you, as you said, once if you admit that I owe 1,65,000, I am bound to pay it because under my client's instruction, it is like wakalat only. Wakalat means what? On his behalf, I am appearing before this court. I am pleading before you. Likewise, or under my instruction, my client has told me that I owe you 1,65,000. So I will pay you within the stipulated time period means you are admitting. Later on, then you say, okay, then you said you will pay within a 15 days time. You admitted in the reply notice. And what happens is later on you fail to do so. It is a good case for the plaintiff. He can say this is the dishonored check and the reply notice is sufficient for him to file a suit against you. These two documents is more than enough to file a suit against you, provided you have admitted the fact that I owe you 1,65,000. So that is the nuances that you have to even your client might say, sir, now I have paid, just help me. What you could do something like Shanmugam said, I will see during the proceedings. What all remedies you can, what all consequences, no, sorry, sir, what all things you can take care of. Either you can file a caveat or anything. You could file a caveat. Once you get the caveat stands for how many months? 3 months, right?
After that, Abhijit sir.
So he said we come in 10, 15. So while please settle down at the back. So in reply notice also, once you admit something, it can come against you. So make sure what you write. Moreover, when you give the reply notice, make sure this is what your client needs. Otherwise, they will blame you. This I have not told you, sir, why you said like this. So it is up to their, because it will be signed by advocates only, but still make sure it is under their authority. It is under what they have said. You have drafted the set reply notice. So in reply notice also, the same fact as a notice has to be followed. The advocate's name is address. Why we are mentioning the advocate's names and addresses? Because for communication. If I wanted to send a reply notice, to whom should I send? So it should be proper. Okay, the advocate's notice, reply notice also should have the same framework that as of notice. The advocate's name, its office address, if possible, email ID or mobile number, anything. That is up to you. Then from who? Then you have to write the subject. Subject means what is your reference. You should give the reference of the notice that you have received. REF you will write. First one is subject, SUB, colon. Then you will write, if it was if PPT was, I could have shown you. But in detail, we have given in the drafting reading record also. You can refer in that. Subject, we have to write reply notice for notice dated, or for reply notice for so and so, what is the detail, and reference must be, it's important, reference to the notice that you have received on 5th Jan. That is very important while you give a reply notice. This is an addition to the notice. So that is what something was not there in the notice. That is the reference that you have been given. Then same, dear sir, or anything. Then comes the instruction. I am advocate so and so. As per the instruction of so and so, that is full address should be there. I am instructed to send you this notice to. Then comes the fact, statement of fact. It is where you have either you are admitting, either you are asking for time, either you are denying everything. There is no such cause of action or anything. So that is up to you. Then you wind up stating that please don't file, like if you are admitting so and so, you could say I shall pay within a period of 1 month. Still then don't take any legal actions or proceeding against me. You could plead there also. And if you are admitting and if you are not denying anything, you are ready to face any legal consequences. Like that, you can wind up your notice, reply notice. Your address, your name, your designation, and also your signature is mandatory. So this is the first and the foremost thing as an advocate you need to know. Notice as well as reply notice. Make sure while you admit anything, it could come against you as well. So in such a way, you need to draft, you need to make a notice. So far is it clear? And date is mandatory. The things that you have to keep in mind is the date. Why? Because we are giving a specified time to pay with it, a specified time for them to reply. So in order to calculate that time, and also in order to see whether it is barred by limitation, maybe 3 months ends today. And if you keep tomorrow's date and send or there was a change in the date or anything, it will be bad. There will be delay of 1 day. Then it will be a difficulty while you are while instituting a suit also, because you need to control the delay, which might or which might not the court allow. So you have to look into that also. Is it clear so far? Notice as well as reply notice. Any doubts so far? We have 10 minutes to spare, so that we can be thorough with drafting of notice. Anyone? Anyone? Do you learn like building lease rent control act here? No, right? Building lease rent control. No. Shall I read the reply notice in this one for the one? No, it's different. This is a different. Okay. What would be your reply notice with regard to the notice that I've given with for rupees 1,65,000? Huh? So shall we draft together? Okay. I've given you an idea of notice. That is what all that on so and so date he has borrowed. He has borrowed 1,65,000 and he has given a check dated this one. And he presented before the court on a specified date. It was dishonored and he asked for extension of time later on also. Please be silent at the back. That was also dishonored. And that is why he sent you the notice. Shall we draft a reply notice together? Okay. So in reply notice, if this is the page, this corner should be the name of the advocate. This corner should be the name of the advocate. And this side, it could be any, as per your convenience, as per your style, it could be any. Okay. Your name, your address, your email ID details, or phone number, whatever. Or it can be together as well. That is not a problem at all. Then comes the address to whom you wanted to send. To Mr. X address. Here Mr. X is who in reply notice? Is it the client or is it the advocate? Huh? It is to the advocate that we are sending. Okay, we are sending the reply notice to the advocate. So here Mr. X's advocate, his office address, his details. Then comes at the back. Please be silent at the back. Date must also be mentioned. It could be here also at any, but date must be here in the reply notice. Then comes the salutation, dear sir or dear madam, whatever it is. Then comes subject. Subject is mandatory. Then comes the reference. Reference means notice received or acknowledgement received or whatever received, dated so and so. Then what you will write? Exactly. Under instructions. Under the instruction of my client, dash, son of dash, residing at dash. It is important. I do hereby send the following notice, or I do hereby send a reply to your notice. Okay. Now, let us draft the notice. Reply notice. Now, what would be the first thing that you would say? If admitting, if not admitting, and if part payment. We're asking for extension of time. First thing, if admitting, you have to mention that Mr. X, I have borrowed rupees so and so from so and on a specified date as mentioned in the notice, but due to some personal difficulties, I was not able to honor his check. Would you please, then we are asking for some time also. Within that time period, I will repay the amount as promised. So till then, don't take any legal actions or proceedings against me. Like that way. What if you are denying it? Denying means it should be total denial. Nowhere you should admit that you have borrowed the money. Uh, Yes, advocate is writing the notice. Actually, for convenience, I said here what terminology we use is my client only. In what we use is throughout the notice, my client only. And you, I mentioned this, the person to, that is how we write, or your client also we can write. So it's a clear. So if you deny one thing, it should be in total denial. And if you are asking for part payment also. Or you can also say, I have not borrowed 1,65,000. I borrowed money from it, but it was not 1 lakh, it was around 50,000 only. I am ready to pay 50,000 within this period, but I have not. That also you can specify, state it, specifically state it. So it's so far is it clear? Can you please draft one reply notice and come tomorrow, if possible? Huh? Like huh? one at a time, please. You are asking whether it is notice or reply notice. Possibly two. That is up to you. That is up to your imagination. Someone from here asked something, right? I can't hear you. Could everyone please be silent? Why? Because we have said within 15 days notice, if you are not responding, I will initiate legal proceedings against you. I got a question. What is the necessity to go before the advocate? It is for an assurance. I said right. It is kind of assurance that if I give the reply notice stating that if you go to a person directly, he might not be ready to give you the stipulated time period. If you send in the notice, you are requesting that you can give me 3 months time. He might not give you when you go and ask him directly. It is kind of negotiation also. Moreover, when an advocate is involved, he will negotiate very nicely. For him, he will also get a benefit as well. Yes, exactly. This is the first step. This is the acknowledgement of the what default or breach that we have committed. That is the first thing we are giving the notice to the accused. One second, if let me see whether I have a problem. I'll give you a hypothetical issue. Okay. Huh? Huh. One landlord, one tenant. Hmm? Please listen. Try to make a notice as well as reply notice. One landlord, one tenant. You have agreed on a lease deed for, say, for example, 11 months for, say, 10,000 per 10,000 per month rent. Landlord tenant, lease deed for 11 months, 10,000 per month rent deed, and the landlord is not vacating the premises even after the specified time period. It can be any date. Date that it's up to you. Okay, but make sure the lease deed. When did you enter into the lease deed? When it was expired, and till when he was not vacating his premises. Now we want the land tenant to vacate his premises. We cannot forcefully evict him, right? So only through court of law we can do it, right? So we approached him. He's not vacating his premises, and we are not. We don't want him to be tenant and sufferance or anything. We want him to be gone. So we are approaching him. We have sent him. We have asked him personally. He is not moving out. Now we are going to advocate to to send him a notice. It's a fact clear. Clear. And a reply notice from the tenant. Thank you. Now Abhijit sir will take over the class. പിന്നെ ഈ സാമാനം സാർ കുത്തണം ലാപ്ടോപ്പിൽ ചാർജ് ഇല്ല ഞാൻ ഇപ്പോഴാണ് സംസാരിക്കുന്നത്
ലൈവ് പോയിക്കൊണ്ടിരിക്കുന്നു ഇതിങ്ങനെ അടച്ചോട്ടെ യൂസ് ഓഫ് ദിസ് ലാപ്ടോപ്പ് എന്താ ഈ ലാപ്ടോപ്പിന്റെ യൂസ് എന്താ ലൈവ് shall I keep the laptop aside? This is the webcam, right? Yeah. Which is the webcam? This is the webcam. Move it away. I need to keep my
And those who are interested to give the names for teams, to give the name for the moot court, please give it to me at the earliest. Only then we can give you the problems accordingly. So today by afternoon itself, please give it to me. I will be library officer. Either to me or to Abhijit sir. Please give the names in teams, not individually, but in teams. Thank you. 20,000 and 10,000 cash prize savings.
ഇങ്ങോട്ട്